Wi-Fi is bad. Don't lie. I face difficulties. I face Wi-Fi problem. But we are going forward.
The President has called for this joint sitting.
On a point of order, Speaker.
Honorable Malema, what is your point of order?
Honorable Speaker, we have a murderer in the House. We have
Hi, Malema, just like that. Malema, just like this, like we have a murderer in the house. We have a murderer in the house. Hey, Bo. Why you say who's the murderer in the house? How can the government allow a murderer in the house? Malema just stand there and say like we have a murderer in the house. So how can the government allow a murderer in the house to present us? Wow.
a man who's got blood of innocent people in this House, which is supposed to represent the wills of our people. And therefore, it is incorrect for you to have extended an invitation to the clerk, because the clerk is a murderer. The clerk has got blood on his hands. The people of Wipatum are turning in their graves. And the clerk said that apartheid was not crime against humanity. It's an unrepentant apologist of apartheid who is not willing to accept that apartheid was crime against humanity.
I understand, dog. I understand the pain of Julius Malema. People in Batum, they lost their kids during apartheid. And I understand very well why Malema is standing. Because people lost their life in Bipato. And the clerk was the I don't know, first president or what, the last president of apartheid. But we're going to ask ChatGPT. De Klerk was the last president of apartheid, government of apartheid, and what he have done at Bipato in Gauteng. Educate people there. Yeah, when this thing is coming to disturb me. It's coming to disturb me. Declared. It's like this thing again, declared. So we're going to see let's see like what declared have done to our people. So Julius Malema, we can't have a murderer in this house. You say like we can't have murderer in this house. People they are afraid. Malema, why are you saying that? Malema, why are you saying that? Malema, why are you saying that? Malema, yeah. Stay on his business, Malema.
And therefore, it is an insult to those died and tortured in Flag Plus under the instructions of the clerk to have the clerk sitting in a democratic parliament. And I therefore suggest, Honorable Speaker, that we request the clerk to leave this house because it doesn't belong to this house.
Honorable Malema, have you finished?
So my submission, Speaker, is that please, for us to have peaceful proceedings, we should ask the commander of Flag Plus, the apartheid apologist, a man with blood on his hands, to leave this parliament because it does not belong here. That's my submission, Speaker.
Thank you, sir.
So like it's a question that we'll ask ourselves, say like what the clerk have done. This is a discussion I just collected because of I believe in collecting information to say like what the clerk have done to our people. So it's very important to understand the history, which we're going to focus on the history. So if like you don't want to here to be learn, we can leave us. Us are going to here to learn, we're not going to here to listen without understanding what the clerk have done to our people. Maybe there's a child in school, want to understand the history of South Africa, and someone is asking himself questions like, why Julius Malema pick out the clerk? What the clerk have done? If you're referring to whoever declared this last state president of apartheid in South Africa, let me clarify and expand on your points. Full name declared William Frederick. Name, oh my God, it's very difficult. William de Klerk. He was the last president of South Africa under apartheid from 1989 and 1994. That means these people, they've been in power for long. If de Klerk was in power like for these years, I think it's 5 years. Key action, he initiated the process of Mandela in 1990. He legalized anti-apartheid political parties, including ANC and Pan-African Congress. He oversaw negotiations that led to the first multiracial democratic election in 1994. And regarding Gauteng, I think you are mentioning about Botswana, Venda, Tseki, and so in Botswana they created a small what is this? They created a small like in townships with people are staying there. Same independent homelands created under apartheid. The Clark government has limited control there, but it started this process of reintegrating there. So I hope like everyone understand Julius Malema point. So like we don't want the Clark here. The Clark is reminding us history. The Clark is what is happening this, and then it's a thing of like I don't know Julius Malema is that thing or like how can we have someone who done wrong things and then we welcome them without doing nothing? And you can tell that Julius Malema is different to. You can tell like Julius Malema is different to Nelson Mandela because Nelson Mandela will be like, welcome the cloud, you know.
Honorable Malema, I wish to rule on the submission you have made. This sitting has been called for one item and one item only, to give the president the space to address the nation. It is convention that all the presidents, the former presidents who are still alive, are invited to the sitting. The former president de Klerk has been invited because of that. I therefore cannot sustain the submission you have made and therefore rule it out of order.
See like what the Madam Speaker said. Oh my God, it's going to be the conflict that is not ending. You know, like how EFF is. We can see, I see Thabo Mbeki, I see de Klerk, I don't see Jacob Zuma, I don't see Ramaphosa, but I know like where's Zuma?
Honorable Speaker.
I want to see where's Zuma.
Honorable
The call for a special purpose.
Honorable Floyd Shibambo,
House.
I have not recognized
Will
you.
you please recognize me?
What are you standing on?
On a point of order, 14.
What is your point of order?
Order is that the rules of the joint sitting apply even when it is a state of national address. That is number one. You can't recognize the clerk as a president of what? Who voted for him? Are you saying this parliament, a democratic elected parliament, must recognize a white-only president who was elected by a criminal system of apartheid?
Honorable
You must acknowledge him
Shibambo.
as such.
Honorable Shibambo.
It cannot be correct.
Honorable Shibambo, yes, you are right. The joint rules apply to this sitting.
Order. Order. Order.
Oh, no. So like we need to understand like when it comes to this, we need to understand so like what black people has lost under apartheid. So I want to come here, as you can see, to see like what black people have lost. It's very important to understand the history. I don't come here to talk the history. We are here to understand the history. And it's like what black people have lost during apartheid. During apartheid, South Africa from 1948 and to 1994, black South Africans have suffered massive losses socially, politically, economy, culturally. Here's a breakdown because of it's very important. It's very important. Most significant losses, the Land Act of 19 the land of 19 and substantive apartheid laws restrict black ownership to only 7, while whites own the rest. Here's the while whites own. Many black people were forced to remove from the fertile land and relocate or Bantus, which were often poor people around. So these black people lost their land. And then when you see Julius Malema in parliament saying like, black people lost this, black people lost this, don't blame him. You understand? Human, why blame them? They went through that pain in the fighting about this. It's because of they experience apartheid. They experience apartheid. So I think it's going to be fair to make sure you understand. You understand? I want to go. It's very important to understand. Like now, what I'm going to do because of I want to go to a shop and then I'll be back soon. I'm going to play my other videos of videos of in parliament. But it's very important to understand like what black people went through. You understand? But this so sad. Yes, I'm not agree with it. I'm not promote it, but it's a thing of like they understand the pain of their. They understand the things of what their ancestors went through. You understand? They understand like our ancestors went this and this and this, and then we need to fight back for them. You understand? It's something like that. It's something like that. You understand? To understand like our parents went through this pain, and then no one's talking about it. No one is there for us. You understand? No one is there for us. There's a problem. You understand? There's a problem that our people they're facing exactly in this country, and then like maybe like they'll try to come back to come back. You understand? This is a thing that we are experiencing. This thing that we are experiencing. You understand? I want to do something like this. Then I'll be back soon. Sorry guys, I face the thing. I face the problem of Wi-Fi, you know. Thank you so much. Yeah, I saw it. Thanks so much. Thank you. Thank you. You know, but then let's watch. Let's go. Let's go. Sorry, guys. This, like every time when, like every time when Julius Malema is speaking, like every time when Julius Malema is speaking, people shakes. And every time, because Julius Malema in Parliament is always make sure people, they take responsibility, they take accountability. That is the work of Julius Malema. That is the work of Julius Malema. So like every time when there's a conflict in Parliament, every time when there's a conflict in Parliament is because of Julius Malema says something. He says something, maybe something that he said is the truth, or something that lead to corruption, something like that. Every time, if we're all watching the videos I've been read on, if we're going to watch these moments because of his, let me start here. So like there's a person, Julius Malema, who people say like Julius Malema, you always causing problem. They call him a troublemaker, Julius Malema.
The corrupt president of South Africa has now made an admission that he is corrupt and therefore is going to pay back the money which was spent on unnecessary things in his home state in Nkandla. And they've made a proposed settlement which they are expecting us to.
I know, like every time there's always behind the corrupt. That's why corruption started a long time ago in South Africa. Long time after apartheid, that's where corruption started. You understand? Now, people who are brave, like General Collins, they say like this corruption will never end unless I take action. This corruption will never end. It never end unless I take corruption. Because this now corruption was started to people getting killed. Asking ourselves, why this person been killed? Why this person been killed? Is because of corruption. It's because of corruption. You understand? So like corruption like was always a big thing in our own country called South Africa. And you can say every time Julius Malema speak, every time you say like your corruption a leader. You say like your corruption leader. He got the power. I don't know what the because I remember maybe the president was Jacob Zuma. The president here was Jacob Zuma, still like the corruption president, your president.
Respond to. But in his typical way of trying to control everything, influence institutions of the state, and Julius took the copy of the proposed settlement to court in an attempt to influence judges. Because in a judicial process, if there are parties that are involved in...
So I know like every time, remember before we go far with these beautiful topics that we can learn from it, that we can study about our state of economy in South Africa. I want us to remain one thing. Remember, this is an open discussion. This is an open discussion. You are allowed to say your opinion. Same to me, if I can pick something that does not sit well, and it's not intentional, it's like, what I'm trying to say is like, no one is targeted. It's an open discussion, sharing the fact, sharing the past during this time, and sharing what is happening like now, so that they can come one. It's not like when you're watching this video and you be like, you're targeting specific. It's not about this. It's not about educational video, educating the world and learning from the past, because we can learn from this thing we're looking at. We can learn from this thing we're looking at. We can learn very well.
Litigation. They communicate amongst themselves without involving judges.
Why?
So and copy judges so that he can influence judges, so that when we arrive before the courts, they already see him as a reasonable man. But because the judiciary in South Africa has always rejected the ANC control, then they responded and said,
it's like, and again, I guess it's very important to become the part of the conversation. Every time I love to come here and tell everyone watching my stream, so that it's very important to become the part of this, because of this, of what we learn from it, we find the solution, we understand about our situation and stuff like that. So it's very important for you to become the part of conversation. Yes, and some people, they can leave, it's fine. But for me, what I want to make sure is, make sure you become a part of the session. You share your words, you share everything, you comment. If you're watching this video, you share your comments, because of in this streaming, I have people who commented, you understand? And you can see like Julius Malema about it's already talk about the corruption that lots of our leaders today, they go to corruption. As you can see, this, which is going to be part of discussion and learn from them. So I don't want you to watch here and not able to say something, and not able to understand, not able to learn. I'm sorry, so to disturb you. You're still here. You understand? We are still here. So let's go and start the video.
they are not interested because parties that are involved in litigation, the only thing that we must do is to tell them by Friday if there is anything. But how we propose to settle, it is between us, and therefore they do not get involved. And I'm happy that they were able to see this crook even before, that he's attempting to do things that are unacceptable.
Who's the crook? Julius Malema. About the Jacob Zuma sent a message to court. We went there alone, and he touched a beautiful thing I mean to focus on. He touched corruption. This is a key word that we need to focus on. He touched the word corruption. Corruption today, the leaders who attend Mandla inquiry about things they've done for their personal use, not taking care of our people. So corruption is a big problem that has been happening in South Africa for more than 30 years after. Because of every time when Julius Malema speak, he speak about the corruption, and he speak about those kind of stuff, and those things, they cause a conflict in the parliament. Corruption comes with many ways. Corruption will come with different ways of forms. But when the video go through, I will explain types of corruptions.
Go to the streets. Let's all demonstrate that we are tired of corruption. And corruption, Zuma and Guptas. And summarizing the two, they are called Das. So the Guptas must fall on the 9th of February.
Just imagine, this young man has been fighting corruption for more than 80 years. Not 80 years, more than 20 years, because he was part of the ANC. He was fighting. he hated corruption. Because people who do corruption, the only thing they think is for themselves. The only people who do corruption, the only thing in their mind is what I'm going to benefit from this. What I'm going to. People, they get tenders, 1 billion, spent buying sports car, so they can be respected. People who pay tax are working so hard. You know the pain. It's very important to listen to someone like Julius Malema. He helped us to think out of the box. So like in this channel, like we are going to is an educational channel where